And she will be here any minute now.
Everybody's waiting.
Yes. So I won't take too long between you and freedom.
It's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce our senator from New Hampshire, first woman governor in New Hampshire, and the only female governor and senator at the in the United States, currently serving as a senator. And she has really embraced Indian Americans in New Hampshire as a part of the community, and that's what it motivates us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As I said, I will be quick since I know that I'm the only thing standing between you and the end of the day. But I want to thank Latha Manjapudi, who, as I think many of you know, is a legislator from New Hampshire who won in a very difficult, very nasty special election in Nashua, which is our second largest city in New Hampshire, and she's doing a great job. So we're very proud of Latha in New Hampshire. And I should also add, she's been very helpful to me personally, even before she got into the legislature. So I very much appreciate that. And I'm sure that I'm probably going to echo what you've already heard from most of your speakers today, and that is that we need to do more to promote American-Indian relations in this country and in Congress. And I will tell you that I did my graduate work at the University of Mississippi under an Indian professor, Dr. Bhagat. He was a wonderful teacher, and I did my master's work on the war between India and Pakistan that created the country of Bangladesh. So I have had, since that time, very warm feelings towards the Indian subcontinent and particularly towards India. And when we have a democracy that is as big as India, that is able to get 530 million people to vote in the most recent election, I think we have something to learn from that here in the United States. So it really is quite remarkable, and I hope we can do as well in November in our elections, and that they turn out well for me in November. So I just thought I'd put that plug in. But we do look forward to working with the new Prime Minister, with BJP, and as I'm sure all of the other speakers have said, I know it's going to be hopefully a new opportunity in U.S.-Indian relations. One of the things that I hear from business in New Hampshire is the potential for markets in India and for doing business in India. And we have a lot of opportunities, I think, because right now India is not even in the top 20 in terms of our trading partners with New Hampshire. And you may think, well, New Hampshire's a small state. How much trade do they do? But the fact is, New Hampshire led the country in the last year in terms of increases in exports. So trade has been a very important part of our economy, one that I feel very strongly about because as governor in the 90s, I led the first trade mission overseas, and so I know how important trade is and the opportunities that India offers to New Hampshire businesses and to American businesses. And I was so excited about the opportunity that we put together a trade mission in 2011 that I was supposed to lead, and we had, I think, about 12 New Hampshire businesses, and both Dartmouth and the University of New Hampshire were part of the trade mission. And of course, the Monday after the Sunday when we were supposed to leave, we had a critical vote on a budget issue here in Washington, and I was not able to go. So the trade mission went with my blessing, and I got to do a very nice conference call to folks there. But the important thing is they had a very good experience. The opportunities continue, and they look forward to expanding those business relationships. So I think that's one area where there are real opportunities. The other area, obviously, again, we heard a number of the speakers earlier talk about, and that is the cultural opportunities that exist. I talked about my great experience with my professor, and we have 100,000 Indian students who come to the U.S. and study here, and I hope that we can keep some of those students in the United States. I think as we're looking at what we need to do to improve our immigration system, one of the things we need to do is make sure that talented young people who get a degree here are able to stay here if they want. And Indians make up the second largest international student group, so we need to make sure that for those people who want to stay here, that they have a good experience and that they're able to do that. And finally, I just want to note that as we look at the future in Afghanistan and what's happening in that part of the world, that as America and the international force draws down in Afghanistan, that India has a very important role to play in helping to ensure stability in that part of the world. And so that will be very important, and our continued work in that area will be critical, I think, both for Afghanistan and for that entire region. So thank you all very much for what you do to promote a very strong relationship both now and even stronger in the future between the United States and India, and I look forward to continuing to work with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator Shaheen. Thank you for coming back on a busy day. All right, thanks to you again. Let's go eat.